wanted to take a minute to address a couple questions that you've had about how to hold a pick and how to strum with a pick, because it's not always that easy just to start strumming the guitar and have it sound remarkable. But with a little bit of guidance, we can figure it out quickly. So the first thing I do is hold my pick. I make a Y right here, just an upside down Y, I guess for you. I place the pick sort of perpendicular to that first bone of my finger here. Just add my thumb over the top after that. That's the look that we're going for. Start to relax the pick and drag it across the first finger so that it becomes comfortable, because I'm going to need that to be fluid, you know, and then that's just me, and it's just one of the things I like to do with the pick. I like to be able to roll my pick over the top of the index finger, and I like to also be able to bring the pick in for a little bit more control and maybe just expose a little bit more of the pick so that we have a little bit more percussive elements in our picking. We'll keep talking about that along the way. So we have a really cool D chord I'm using. Only finger one, it's a D5. Open D, finger one on fret 2 on the G string, and finger 2 on fret 3 on the B string. And it's very simple, you know. Let's start with a strum. And we'll have a strum, a downstroke, just simple downstrokes, and we'll count later. Right now, what we want to do is just focus on just making it through the string set and starting and stopping roughly in the right places. I'm going to go ahead and play along. If you want to play along, I'm going to give you enough time to jump in and grab your guitar and play along. And we won't be moving very quickly, so as we modulate and shift from one strum pattern to the next, you should be able to just keep an eye on what's happening on the screen and keep up if you'd like to. So I've got to start with on the top of the D string and let the pick sort of fall through the next two strings, the G and the B strings. And you can see when I slow it down that the pick isn't rushing through. I'm not plucking through one string and rushing through to the next string and plucking through and resting quickly on the next string. There's quite a bit of control in the right arm here, so it's as we load the string, the pick feels like it's going to go through and push through to the next string, right? But we can control that push. We can stop, be prepared to stop halfway through to the next string. And that gives us a little bit more control. And over our tone. So you can see as we start to speed up, that adds a little bit more clarity to how we present our tone. We could just present the bass note first and then alternate back and forth between the bass note and the two other notes of the chord. We might want to make the bass note less loud, and the top two notes, we might want to have those two kind of accented. Or we might want to shift bass or shift gears too and have the bass note just kind of be highlighted, or even palm mute the bass note. It's a little more challenging because we have a few more things going on to manage. We could palm mute the whole thing, and we're still only just strumming down, 2, 3. We can count now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, you wanted to, if you have a fourth finger, you can add it to fret number 5 on the high E string so that we can add another D, A, D, and A. So we could just kind of get a little bit more on the upper end and kind of frame out the upper end of the sequence or the chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you'll notice what I'm doing with my pick. I'm holding it differently and I can make different sounds. Now what I'm doing here is I'm using the pick, you know, it's resting on the inside of the index finger, inside of the middle finger here. And the thumb is on the back end of it, just doing one of these things, just holding it in place. That gives the pick a little bit more room to sort of wiggle without dropping the pick. What we want to do is avoid, you know, strumming and then having the pick work its way out of our fingers and onto the floor. It's really important to have a good solid grip on the pick. Hold the pick solidly, and that will bring more volume if we really wanted to, you know, dig into the string set. But if we don't, if we want less volume, we still hold the pick, you know, securely, but we just play, you know, just to apply a little less pressure or increase the forward angle so that the pick glances over the strings. And you'll notice that we're going to come back to this. That down, up, down, up. That's the next step in the progression of getting better at strumming the guitar. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Down, up, down, up, down. I'm really working on strumming only the top 3 or 4 strings. I could add the low E string in there, but it was, you know, it's not a D chord anymore. The A string fits because it's part of the D chord, right? And it kind of beefs up the sound. So the first thing we want to do after we have a downstroke sounding great, and we have an upstroke sounding balanced. We have to have that discussion at least one time about the upstroke, because the downstroke is going down toward the ground, which is sort of like how we perceive gravity always heads down, so it's our instinct or it's natural to want to go down with right hand, downstroke. The upstroke, sometimes it feels quirky or jerky, and it can be challenging to make it sound exactly identical in dynamics or loudness to the downstroke. So it's worth sitting around here and exploring this. I've spent hours and hours and hours doing this kind of exercise. We don't talk about it. If you want to get good at strumming and really good at strumming, I mean, and really appreciate what's going on mechanically, there's no other way to do it except for to sit down and do it. So I'm moving into 8th notes, 1 and 2, T and 4. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And if your hand cramps up, we'll just take a break, you know, and stretch. I hope you're playing along, though. That's the whole point of this. Good. Now what we're going to take a look at is just an alternate, just to give ourselves a little bit more latitude this week while we work on strumming. We're also working on some other pick style work, so down, up, so that we can get that feel for the pick as it rolls, or kind of like sutures its way or sews its way through the guitar string set. And then by getting used to this, we can start to control our tone more clearly. That's an easy thing to overlook, you know. It's not one of those things we appreciate all the time right up front in the game, right? Sometimes we want to just get up and running, and that's okay, it's expected. But I'm angling my pick down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And I'm doing a down, up on a downstroke on that B string, trying to highlight that B string and let it ring. Now I'm going to try to get those two notes on the top of the string set highlighted. It takes a little bit of concentration because we're using down, up, down, up. See what's going on with my left hand finger and my fret fingering. I'm just changing the melody, you know, keeping the drones at work in the same manner on the bottom of the pattern. Let's go somewhere different with it now. Let's go up here. Finger 2 on fret 4 on the G, the finger 1 bars on fret 3 for the G. I'm still keeping that open D string though, alive. Going up to A, back to G, and then back to A, up to B minor, with D in the bass. Ooh, that C minor doesn't work, it's gotta be C sharp. C sharp minor doesn't work, it's going to be C sharp minor with a flatted fifth, right? Or C sharp diminished. And back to D again. Same shape we used for the G. A. Now we're just going to take a look at that right hand pattern, down, up, down, up. We're all downs. On playing open position chords with all downstrokes, and then D, and just get familiar with where that 1 is. 1, 3, 4, and then really slow eighth notes. All right, so I think that's a pretty good place for us to stop for today. I really hope you enjoyed this session. If you would like to see more sessions like this, just let me know in the comments what you would like to actually do, and we can expand on anything you'd like to talk about. It's an infinite world out there, and I really enjoy it if you ask questions or comment. So please do that, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and ding the bell for the channel, because it's a fun thing to do. And I'll see you again next time. But until then, happy picking.